Welcome to Colidor.
Hey everyone, this is Jason from GameRaveTV, and this is Pause Mode. Alright guys, first things first, a huge shout out and thank you to our Patreon contributions. Basically, we saved the last 2 months worth of patronages, I guess you'd say, and we actually updated our green screen, so instead of the poster board, we're now actually using green screen paint. So it may take me an episode or two to get the lightings properly adjusted and so forth, so you might see a little bit of fuzz around the hair and so forth. But hopefully this will actually help the videos look that much crisper. With the poster board, there was just too many light sources that the iPhone was freaking out on and so forth. So hopefully this will help. Alright, that being said, let's get to the episode. We're going to talk about Star Wars games, specifically Star Wars games for Sega systems. With The Force Awakens coming out in a couple of weeks, I wanted to jump back into the archives of the video game systems I cover besides PlayStation, and I found it depressing that Sega really got screwed when it came to the Star Wars games, at least in America. When the NES had the Empire Strikes Back and the original movie game, only the Sega Master System in Europe got it. Us Americans got nothing. When it came to the Sega Genesis, it didn't get anything until the Sega CD hit, and even then it was just a chess game and the really crappy FMV game Star Wars Rebel Assault, which on the Sega CD was really hard to play. It really wasn't until the Dreamcast came and the new trilogy of movies, so it's a 50-50 shot there, that a Sega system actually got a whole bunch of games. With the Dreamcast, despite the source material, they're actually pretty decent. You have Star Wars The Pod Racer, which is basically just a racing game. You also have Jedi Power Battles, which is a 1 or 2 player beat 'em up. It's basically Streets of Rage or Final Fight for the older folk. For the newer folk, imagine Dragon's Crown from the PlayStation 3 and Vita, but with lightsabers. There's also the Star Wars Demolition. Star Wars Demolition, of the 3, is probably the weirdest just because it's basically Vigilante 8 from the PlayStation, but with Star Wars vehicles. They somehow tried to shoehorn in this really crazy story about how there was a contest and Jabba the Hutt's running it and blah, 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 blah. Basically, pick a vehicle and have at it. Just blow things up. What made it funny was that they actually had, like, the Rancor monster and the Sand Speeder and the Snow Speeder, and it made no sense, but you played it because there was explosions and it was Star Wars, and that's all that really mattered. What's even nicer is that from a collector's standpoint, and to a degree the gaming standpoint, is that the games are affordable and cheap. You can literally get both Sega CD Star Wars games and all 3 Dreamcast games for about $100 total. In fact, after this video, you could literally just jump on eBay, grab each one of them, and have them shipped to your house for free. They're not really collectible per se, although the Star Wars chess on the Sega CD is kind of uncommon, but it can be found fairly easily with an hour or so of looking. Alright guys, that does it for this episode of Pause Mode. Next week we are going to take a pause, no pun intended, from the Letter Lament series and actually dive into one of the rarest collectibles for the PlayStation. I figured it was finally time to actually let the baby out of the bubble wrap, so to speak. If you like a hint, it's a metal briefcase. We'll see you next week guys. Take care.